Hey, what's going on, y'all? So I'm raising five kids with my two beautiful ladies, four girls, one autistic son. And man, after all these years, I've learned some things, a couple of things actually. Most parenting advice sounds amazing until you actually have kids. A lot of it comes from people with one kid, no kid, or people who conveniently forget what it's like to actually have kids. So these are parenting tips that I've learned throughout my journey with my little people. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Matthew Jones. I am a writer, creator of manga, animate a few animations, put together events called like SableCon, martial artist, former engineer that started entrepreneurship and real estate investor. So I got a couple of things under my belt, and I just wanted to start with this and see where we can go with that. So let's start with number one. Let's start with number one that I really learned. I learned this quick, and this is every kid is different. They are absolutely different. And one of the big mistakes parents make is believing what worked on one child is going to work on all of them. That ain't what it is. Now, certain things, yeah, it's like okay, yes, no, understanding certain things, yes, like teaching them how to speak, but even that could be different. I've got kids that are completely different from each other, different personalities, different motivations, different strengths, different struggles. The sooner you stop trying to turn away, the sooner you stop trying to turn every child into the same person, the easier it becomes for the most part. Your job isn't to create copies. Your job is to help them become the best person that they can be that is unique to themselves. And one of the things I learned about that was like my first daughter, we had her early, and then we had my son like a few months later. So the first one, my oldest daughter, she was like in 2005, and then my son, he was in like 2006. So she was August, and then he was June of 2006. And man, that was wild. And then we found out when he was younger that he had autism and stuff like that. And it was a thing where you would kind of notice this while things was going on with him. Like he wouldn't respond the same. Like our oldest, and I need to ask them if they don't mind me saying saying their names and stuff. I'm gonna ask them that later, and then in the other videos we can go on from there. I just don't want to be like, yeah, I just want to, because you probably see them on social media and stuff. But anyway, it's like our daughter. She would be like, she would respond to things. She would look. She would pay attention. Our son, not at all, man. That dude, it's like, hey, what you doing? He's just looking like he don't know what's going on. Yeah, it was wild to see. He would just eat stuff that we wasn't supposed to eat. He'd eat quarters and pennies and look at you like, man, this shit is delicious. So I was like, yo, Sunday right with old boy. And we find out that he had autism and stuff, and we had did all kind of testing with that. And I know that's on an extreme, that's on an extreme level. But then even when the third came, she was a lot more laid back than the first. And the first is laid back, like me and her mother and stuff. And she was just kind of just like, yeah, I'm fine with sitting on your stomach and watching animal documentaries, and just taking everything in. And she always like felt a lot more than some of the other ones. And even in school, it was like, well, she's kind of emotional and stuff. And it was like they almost tried to hold her back. And I was like, nah, she's smart. She just feels a lot more than other people. And then even with my younger two, they're really vocal about the things with their other mother. They're all, and we all live together. The family all lives together. The younger two, they're all vocal about everything, and they're only what, 4 and 1, and they are extremely vocal. If they want something, they gonna tell you. They gonna ask. They gonna mention it. If the youngest wants to eat something, she is going to make noise to anybody that can get it. My oldest ones, they were a little bit more passive. They were like, okay, I'll wait. Okay, you taking too long. Now I'm gonna go get it. The other ones, nah. So it's like you can't. They're not all going to be the same. You can't make them do all the same stuff, and you don't want that either. You got to figure out what each one of them are thinking and what their universe is. So it's a whole wild situation. So and then so I don't spend too much time because I want to see how this works with everybody, and if folks want more of this from me, and then the second lesson, say kids are always watching, man. You could tell them little kids to be honest. You could tell them to work hard, be respectful, but they pay more attention to what you do than what you say. That man, if you quit every time, like if you just quit stuff, they watching. If you treat people crazy, they watching. If you keep your word, they watching and they listening. They hear the words. They see the actions, and that's what they learn from. Like I was saying earlier, like my oldest, they're laid back like me and their mother, and then the other two, they're a little bit more wah and wild. But then they're also like that because of the older kids. They're laid back, but the older girls are still wild. They fight and go back and forth. So the little ones do the same thing. So they watching us and their older siblings and stuff. And they even hang out together and stuff, and which is wild. I never thought I'd see that, but they are watching. And one of the things I remember the most is like my youngest, not my youngest, my oldest, she was the one they got to watch me really like fight and do like MMA and do the MMA fights and tournaments and stuff, because she watched me do more fights. Then my middle one, she kind of watched me and would see me do more tournaments and stuff, jiu-jitsu tournaments, both different. So my oldest, she understood, hey, I'm not going to let people treat me a certain way. My daddy doesn't do that. I'm not going to let that happen either. And so she in school that we had to go up to school a few times, and whether it was little boys or little girls, we had to deal with, hey, this was going on, and so and so did this, and your daughter bopped him upside the head, or whatever the case may be. And even if I would tell her, hey, you need to talk, you need to do that, it was a thing where she was like, okay, I can't let this go on too long. But she was also kind of like me, because I've always been laid back, and I've always been laid back. Even as a child, it was a thing where it was like I would just mind my business. I would just mind my business, and people would take advantage of that. And so after a while, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to hit some of y'all dudes, because y'all doing too much. You can tell them, you can tell these kids plenty of things, but they always watching to see how you will react. And my oldest, she reacts similar to me when it comes to certain things. I'm gonna be quiet, but then I'm also gonna let you have it after a while. She's bypassed some of the stuff that I had to go through. It didn't take her as long to understand it, because she had me, but she also watched me when certain situations would happen with family. And it's like, hey, I'm about to put hands on this person, or I'm about to do this, or I'm gonna have this serious conversation with this person, and you're gonna stand here and you're gonna be with me, and you're going to see what's going on. So she's always watched it. And then even my youngest, right now we had a we had a crossroads where we either gotta stop cussing and using certain words, or she has to stop. And it's most likely going to be the older folks who stop, because I would let my kids cuss around us. And not like mother effer or stuff like that and everything. No, not that. More so just being a little bit more free with their words and not cussing me out. Like that's not what I'm talking about. My oldest understood it. My middle one understood it. My son with autism, he did not. He would go to the school and just say everything. They'd be like, "Is TK watching more stuff, or is you got, or is something happening at home?" I'm like, "Oh God." He talking about stupid motherfucker and stuff at school. I'm like, "Oh, okay." bro, you got to stop. So we banned him from any of it. My daughters, I've still let them. Now my younger ones, oh God, they are wild. They still do it to this day. Well, no, let me roll that back. They don't still do it. My younger one, the 4 year old, she's using the words and she hears everything that me, Sharon, Jasmine, the older sister, she hears it all. So now she just starts firing off. It's like, hey, you need to chill out, little girl. You're doing too much. You need to chill out. And so it's funny, but we also got to reel her in. But again, they watching everything you say and do. It's there's no getting around it. So that's on us. That's not on her. That's on her. That's on us. That's not on the little woman. She's learning. So we'll get that together. Lesson three is that time is more valuable than stuff. And you hear that type of stuff from people. You hear like, the time is more valuable than the stuff and everything. But it's also the type of time. Because I think a lot of parents beat themselves up because they can't buy everything. And I've learned that most kids don't remember the expensive stuff nearly as much as they remember the time with you, the conversations, the rides, the random tips. That's what me as a father here for. Random ass tips. The moment you stop what you were doing and paid attention, you can't always buy more stuff. You definitely can't buy more time though. And that's what I really got at with my middle one. She she's the one that started doing more stuff. And then my oldest, when she would go to wrestling meets and everything, I'd be there for her and stuff like that. She would go to jujitsu classes with me, and we would do jujitsu and training. When we had the space to do it, I need to get all that set up. And my middle one, she's the one that really is like really bringing that out because she'll go back to school and be like, "Hey, I went to Texas because we go to DreamCon usually every year to vend and have a table there." And she's like, "Yo, I went to Texas with my family and I went and I won this and I got this and I did this." And to us, it may be like, oh, it's whatever. But to her, she's going to the school telling the teachers, telling the kids, and she remembers all that. And then it's also a thing where I'm doing stuff where she may not be as vocal with me about, man, this is amazing, but she'll tell other people. And then so it's like she won stuff, but she actually just had me winning stuff at the daggone Six Flags in Dallas, winning her Pokemon and stuff. And so she remembers those things, and she's the one that lets me know that she remember those things. And also with me going to school trips with her, whether it's Six Flags, whether it's museums and stuff like that, aquariums, I've always done a lot more of that with her. And then the oldest, she got kind of messed up because of the COVID stuff, so it took a lot of that away to where she didn't do all of that. But my middle one, she does that. And then even with my son, I'll go to some of the stuff with him if they go to like little breakfasts or lunches and stuff. But mainly my middle one, and then I'll do it a lot more. I will be doing it a lot more with the younger ones, where if I got to travel, I'll go with them. I'll ride with them. I'll drive. I'll do the chaperone stuff. I recently did that with the middle one again. She's in middle school right now, and they had went to Six Flags out here, and the one in Illinois. So doing all of those things that matters to them, and it's like in the whole time, you know how it is. They 13, 14, 15, stuff like that, and you talking to them, and it's like, oh, I ain't concerned about that, and they just act like they not concerned about anything. So you like, well, I'm not either. But then you ask them you want to do something, they're like, yeah, I want you to do that, or I want you to go with me, or whatever the case may be with that specific thing. So that time is always going to be more valuable than any of the stuff you can buy. Now they like the stuff you can buy too. You got to mix it together. I want to get that in there before I moved on to my next point too. They like the stuff that you can buy. My daughter loved the Pokemon stuff. The other one loved the Bluey stuff. My oldest one when we can buy her certain shoes and boots and stuff. My son still likes video games, and my man still, for some reason, he's the autistic one. Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it. My man loved black pencils. He carry them around, use them and everything. So, and not on walls or anything, but mainly he carries them in his pocket. That's his like stimming thing, where it's like, hey man, this calms me down. Or even if I'm a little hype, I'm a I'm gonna use these things. So I'm not gonna lie and say they don't like the stuff, because the stuff mixed in with the time. Oh, that's a beautiful combination right there. Taking them to museums, taking to a slide museum, Six Flags with the family, different restaurants so they can experience different foods, different learning experiences, going to different orchestra events with them. All of that stuff matter. You got to combine what you got. But if you don't got the money to do, it is more important to make sure you're spending that time. Because like even with us, like even before once again, I got more on this one. Before I even had kids, and I remember with my mother, it was always a thing where for my birthday, we wouldn't get like a lot of like presents. But so I'm not really a present person. Like I'm going to give you this thing. It for lack of a better word, niggas was broke. And so that wasn't a thing, but it was always food. So for our birthday, we'd get whatever dinner we wanted, and then whatever, like cake or cake, pie, whatever. Or if you didn't want that, it'd be a certain type of food or whatever. We would always get that, and then it'd be like action figures, something, or stuff that didn't cost a bunch of money. And man, I like that. Oh, that stood out to me, and I still remember that to this day. And I do that. We do that with them. I don't need a lot of like gifts. You can cook me some food and 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 show me a nice little time or something, walking around or kicking it with me or something, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. The other stuff I can get myself. So even with them now, my oldest, she does that for them. She bakes now, and so we'll all get the stuff. We'll help each other in the kitchen, and then we're gonna do that for my son. His birthday is coming up soon this week, Friday actually, and we're gonna make him. I think my oldest gonna make him brownies and stuff. He didn't want to go anywhere, and I'm gonna make him hamburgers because my man loved hamburgers, and we was like, what you want for your birthday? He wanted hamburgers. Last year was going to Six Flags, but it was so hot that year. I think he was kind of done with it, and he couldn't get in what he wanted to get in, so he wasn't too happy. So that time really matters. So lesson 4: you do not control the outcome. This one is interesting because it never stops. Like none of them actually ever stop. But this one is. It took me a long time. But when I say a long time, it's like it never stops because my oldest is like 20, and it just never stops. And as a parent, you can teach, you can guide, you can correct, you can protect, you can love. But eventually, your kids start making their own decisions, and that comes quicker than you think. A lot of parents carry a lot of guilt for things they couldn't control. Sometimes all you can do is plant good seed and hope that it grows, because you don't know what they thinking. And I always tell people, it's like kids, these kids are individual universes on their own. They're individual worlds, thinking patterns, emotional beings. They all of that. They're all those different things, and there's nothing you can do about any of it. In that trying to make them do and make them do, it's like it's not gonna happen. And hey, you gonna be over here and you gonna do this, man. It's a waste of your time to be fighting these little people, because they're individual beings with their own world view and their own universes in their mind that they're going to create. They're going to create whole worlds from just who they are. And it's important that they do, because I always feel like we need them to do it. Some of the issues that we got, I'm not one of those people that, hey, we don't need kids and we don't. No, we need them, because they may be the ones that are going to solve these issues that we got. It's like you can try to play the whole, they're gonna be dumb. We don't know about this. The world is this and that. Just like you can't control the outcome, you can't see what the outcome will bring either. One of the things with my oldest when she went to college, it was like, hey man, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do this? Why don't you stay here closer to the schools here? Why don't you go to the community college? Why don't you go to the universities that's around here in Milwaukee and stuff like that? And whole time it's like, nope, I ain't doing it. Nope, I'm not doing it. I'm just like, oh God, why? Stay closer to home, and not because I wasn't gonna do, because that was my main thing. It was like, hey, every time we go up there and get her. We go up there and get her every Friday or every other Friday. Or if she says she don't want to come back, we get her. But my job was to go up there and make sure she got into college, she got out of college, she got all her stuff. I came and got her so she can come out, hang out with us, and everything. And it didn't bother me, but I was still like, hey, I would have liked if you would have done it closer to home and stuff. But you can't control that. That's a young woman with her own thoughts and her own priorities and what she's trying to do. And my job ain't to mess it up. My job is just to help you with the decision, because sometimes it's just going to be you make a decision and you make the decision correct. You make a decision and you make that the correct decision. It ain't no it's correct. It's going to be fine. It's work behind all of it. Everything you do, whether it's something you want to do, whether it's something you don't want to do, it's going to be work behind all of it. And you can't control it at all. Like even with my son, there's a lot of things where I'm like, man, maybe dude to talk some more. We've been working on stuff, speech therapy and stuff, and nope. It's like he knows how to speak correctly when when things don't go his way, when he's really stressed, like in and I know how to stress him because I wrestle a lot. Like I wrestle with my kids and stuff. I play with him. He does not like it. Like all of my girls are fine with it for the most part, but my son, oh my God, he does not like it. And I know that might be something different. That might be another video, but when it's like you can't control what on my lesson being that you can't control the outcome is that you don't know if dude is going to if I wanted him to speak more, but because of the autism and stuff like that, he's nonverbal for the most part. Not, like I said, he can talk and speak certain things. But having a full on conversation, it ain't happening. And the thing about it is like you think like people will tell you, like as a parent, especially with an autistic child, people tell you, well, why don't you go do this? Or why don't you go get speech therapy? Why don't you go teach them this? Why don't you sit down and work with them more? Like, I've tried these things and it don't work. It don't work. Like, my guy ain't speaking. And why am I going to put my pressure on myself and then ultimately put pressure on him and make it worse on him when after 13 years he's not speaking like in full sentences and stuff? I can't control that. All I can do is love my son and check on him and make sure that we have things in place to make life easier for him and for everybody else so that we can communicate and get through this together. But if you trying to control it and oh yeah, he gonna speak, he gonna take him here and I'm gonna do that, and he's just not going to do it. He's not doing it with anybody. Now, if I start stressing him out, he will clearly start saying no, stop, stuff like that. He'll do that, but you can't control what's going on with those little people. And I also learned that when he was in the hospital, because he was born like what I think 3 months early, 2 or 3 months early, and I didn't even look at him. I didn't even go look at bruh. Because I was like, I don't want to see this little dude and see him like this. And a few times I did go in there because Sharon wanted to check on him, and I would go check on him for her. And then she would be like, you got to see him though. And so I look at him, and he got tubes and stuff all in him. And I was just like, I can't control none of this. I can't do nothing for my man. I can't do nothing besides sit here and look. So it's important that you understand that you can't control the stuff, but you still just got to be the best that you can with everything. So that's four. And then with five, oof, this one is a beast for me. Uh, Parenting will expose you. People think parenting changes kids. People think parenting changes everybody else but them. But parenting changes the parents too. It exposes your patience, your temper, your insecurities, your ego, your habits. Kids have a funny way of forcing you to confront parts of yourself you didn't even know were there. Man, let me tell you something. These little people will will run you up a wall. And I want to be clear, I've always wanted all of my kids. This ain't no, man, it was a mistake. I did this with your mama, and man, we didn't mean. I always wanted all of my kids. I loved them little people. I wanted all of them all the time. It was never before they were here, when they popped up, everything. It was, I can't have no more kids. Nope. I got to do what I got to do. We got to figure this out. I've always wanted my kids, but they have a way of just like my youngest, since they're a lot, like I said, they're a lot more outgoing with things, and so they'll just say stuff. They'll just say, "Hey, I want this," or "Hey, I need you to do this for me," and that patience thing. It's like they are very impatient when it comes to certain things. So then that means I have to be more patient when it comes to things. Because if not, we're gonna have two impatient people just doing wild stuff. And then even with my son, that was a whole lot of patience with learning what's going on with this little dude. They got autism, to where I'm watching him eat and do stuff, and then he looking at me like everything is fine. I'm mad. He's smiling at me like, "Hey, this is amazing." I'm mad. I'm talking to him, and he's still smiling. I'm even barking at him. "Hey, what are you doing? Why you do this?" He's just looking at me like, "Man, this is amazing, ain't it?" And then I'm doing this, and then I have to snap out of it and be like, wait a minute, hold on, pull yourself back, sir. This is a child. He don't know what's going on, and he's not concerned about it. And then even with my oldest, with having to focus on the younger one, having to deal with her and how she is affected by stuff that's going on with him. And since she's a laid back young lady, but she's really about her business, she'll tell on him, she'll watch him, and then we got to make sure that she wants her own things and stuff too. So I'm seeing that, oh, yo, you doing tunnel vision because you got to get a thing done, but you still have this person over here who needs your help. And um and there's and you just find out that some of the things that you just so worried about, you gotta work it. You gotta work those things out. Certain bad habits, like I was saying, like even with the cussing thing, that lends over into all of them, and two of them so far just done took it too far. We gotta ban them. Temper. Sometimes I can just be angry about stuff, but me railing off and saying whatever to them, that's not gonna make anything better. That's not gonna make anything better for me, for them, for nobody. So I got to make sure that I'm paying attention to what I'm saying and what I'm doing, and make sure that I am aware that I have to control those things and work that out. And then even some of my insecurities, like they might say certain things or do certain things around it, and it makes me feel like I'm not doing what's needed or what should have been done. But that's not their fault. That's me. That has nothing to do with them. If something happened, and then something's happened, and then I've been through a situation where nobody was there for me or something, and then I'm feeling hurt because I'm like, man, nobody helped me with this or that. Like even with my like even with my oldest, when it's like her going to like her wrestling practices and stuff back in the day, and even the schooling, dropping her off to college, going to pick her up, and for me, it's like I didn't have any of that. And I also want to be clear, a lot of it being exposed, is a whole lot of that for me, because I didn't grow up with my biological father. I just found out some things about that, which I'll make a video about that later. Especially again, if this is the type of content folks like from me, and you look at this, let me know if you like it. Because I can do more of it. But if I don't hear nothing, I might just be like, forget it. But it, those things, I didn't grow up with biological father. Then stepfather came in later on, and it's a thing where you just like you have to figure out some of these things, and because folks had to work, and there was so many of us, because I'm the oldest of 9 kids. Sometimes time wasn't done, things weren't done the way you would have liked. And so when we talk about being exposed and just the whole biological father thing, for me, that's wild, because like I've been with all of my little people their whole lives. Like I said, oldest is 20, youngest is 1. And I've been here a whole time. Not none of this. Well, I'm over here, and then I left, and no. Well, me and their mama ain't together. No, that's not what's going on. And that just exposes a lot for me personally, because like I don't know what that's like when with your biological father, stepfather, and then their family and stuff, and that's not a problem. But then having a person that looks like you, two people that look like you, that where you got the stuff from, where you get certain attitudes and temperaments from, I don't know what that's like. And so I've always been like, hey, what's this other side of me and stuff? And you have dealing with my little people now, it exposes a lot of that, to where I have to understand that they're part of me. This is where this came from, and this is from their mother, and then this could be some from somebody else for in my family tree. So all of those things matter, and you have to be prepared. No, you ain't even got to be prepared for nothing. Like I said, it's going to expose you. You don't be prepared for nothing. It's going to expose you, and it's going to and it's going to make you be prepared. And you're going to have to learn from it. If you don't, you're just going to keep going through the same mess. And you don't want to do that with your little people, especially them. You don't want to do that. That's not fun or interesting at all. It just causes worse situations. So yeah, parenting will definitely expose you. But in closing, man, at the end of this, and I'm saying all of these things with the closings and the stuff because I have to stay on track. I am a notorious ranter. You can look at all my. I was going to delete all these videos, but if you look at it, go look at all my other videos. I am notorious at ranting. So I had to start putting down notes and going through stuff and really focusing on the conversation at hand. And that's what I'm doing with this. That's what I'm doing with this. So if you hear something like closing, yeah, that I'm doing that to keep myself on track and to let myself know where I'm at and what I'm doing. But the biggest thing I've learned with raising my 5 little people is that there's no perfect parent. They're just parents trying to do their best while learning on the job. That's all you're doing. You are learning on the job with these little people. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to do things wrong. You're going to do things wrong. I said do things wrongs. And I ain't cutting it out either. You're going to do things wrong. And the goal isn't perfection though. Like it's really not. The goal is to keep showing up as it is with most things in life. It's just to keep showing up and to keep doing and to learn from your mistakes, apologize, move forward, all of that. Even to the little people. That's another thing I didn't add in there. You got to apologize to them too. Because we ain't perfect. Again, we learning on a job. Because at the end of the day, kids don't need perfect parents. They need present ones. And they need you to be there. And being present means understanding, doing better each day, apologizing, correcting, loving. That's what being present to me is. And there's a bunch of other stuff to go along with that. But either way, you know how I go. So I appreciate you kicking it with me through this. If you want to support and stuff, you can go watch some of the animations, the books, or set up some talks with me or whatever the case may be. We'll probably try to do some stuff like that later. But yeah, that's what I got. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.